Hello and welcome to Thav TV. This is Thav Exclusive and I'm your host Natasha Brown. On this particular episode, we'll be speaking with an astute woman. She's the CEO of Crystal Brooks Eye Solution and also a certified youth and family life coach. So you don't want to go anywhere, you want to stay tuned for this. Will be highly informative and educative at the same time. If you want to be a parent or you're an aspiring parent, stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
Welcome back. So, on this episode, we have the amazing Mrs. Mercy Oluwadamilola Ajadi. I hope I got it right.
Yes, you did.
I had to practice that. Welcome. You look so lovely.
Thank you very much.
And to say that you have 3 children and the first is like 22 years old, I'm like, ma, you need to give us that secret bonus.
No problem.
After the show.
No problem at all.
Welcome.
It will be my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So let's go right into it. Outstanding teens and parents community. First of all, you're the CEO of Crystal Brooks Eye Solution. You do a lot of things, but this is particularly close to heart because it's both a passion project and a work project at the same time. So tell us about it.
Okay, so the Outstanding Teens Parents Community is a subsidiary of Crystal Brooks Eye Solution, which, like I said, is not a non-governmental, is not an NGO. Yeah. The Outstanding Teens Parents Community is actually a coaching, training, and mentoring outfit for the youth, for the teenagers, the youth. I normally like to call them the youth, the parents, and the teen mentors. Anybody who is a caregiver or a stakeholder as far as teenagers are concerned. And our goal basically is to equip them with the right knowledge, the tools that will help them to fulfill their roles effectively, build an outstanding future, and impact their society positively. That is basically what we do.
I love that it's such an impactful thing that you do because I understand that the teen age is very critical.
Exactly.
To the wholesome woman or man you become, eventually. But why teenagers in particular?
Teenagers, because I believe that particular age bracket, if we can catch them young, we will do very well. I feel that a teenager is someone who is still in their formative years. Yes, you may say, okay, but they know a lot more now. They are not toddlers. Yes, but they still need a lot of nurturing, a lot of training, a lot of guidance. And I believe that if we can provide that for them, I believe they will be able to thrive. And why teenage years is because one of the things I notice about that age bracket is that they are quite ignorant. I see them do a lot of things and I sit back and I'm like, wow, this could only come from the place of ignorance. So I believe that if we equip them with the right knowledge, they will make informed decisions and they will improve the quality of their life. When you look at teenagers and it's easy for adults to complain, oh, my child is like this, they are involved in these vices. What do we do with these young people? And I tell them, a young person is not a problem. They are solution providers. When you keep looking at them as problems, then you are going to have a lot of problems. The teenager is not a different species of the Homo sapiens. They are young people who need nurturing, guidance, and supervision, and they lack knowledge. You and I, for all, we should know that these young people, they are very new in the school of life. And if they are new in the school of life, it means they are going to be ignorant about so many things. If they don't know, there is no way they can do well. So if we want to change the narrative and stop complaining about, oh, they are doing like this or they are doing like that, we need to equip them with the right information, with the right knowledge. There are quite a number of knowledge or rather information out there. In fact, they are overdosing on those information, but it's not doing them any good. That means they need the right knowledge. And I believe that when they have that right knowledge, they will do better.
Well, so you talk about this right knowledge. And we know that we live in a time where there's information all over the place. So the average teenager thinks they're quite knowledgeable. In fact, they know more than their parents.
Exactly.
So there's such a thing as that. But the parents now as well, they're thinking, we know more than you, so you have to listen to us. But we also know that there's that bridge, there's that gap, whereby the teenage, they're in a generation where it's technology, it's information, it's knowledge at the tip of your fingers. And your parents are still, should I say, quite analog? So how are you able to bridge that gap with your community? The parent, the teenager, how are you able to bridge that gap and bring them on the same page? Where the teenager is open enough to learning, to saying, okay, I should learn from you, and the parent is open enough to saying, I might not know it all, I'm also willing to learn.
Okay, we try to bridge that gap by letting everyone know that you are at a different season of your life. And for each season, we have a role to play. If you can understand your role and play it very well, then you will be fine. Now, for the parents, you have a role to play. You cannot say because you are a parent, you know it all. No one knows it all. And for that reason, as a parent, you need to constantly keep yourself abreast of new information and knowledge that will help you to help your teenagers. For the teenagers, it will be you will do yourself a huge disservice by saying that you know. The fact that you are a digital native doesn't mean that you know. You don't have the wisdom to do life. So you need to learn from the people who have been around for a while. Simple wisdom tells you that. So, parents, you need more knowledge so that you can help your teenagers. Teenagers, you also need to learn because you are very new in the school of life. So what are your roles? Because you have a role to play in becoming in having that future that you desire and deserve. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what are my roles? So that is how we try to bridge the gap. Parents, you focus on your roles. Teenagers, focus on your roles. Now you come and you find a way to connect by understanding each other, having empathy, and being compassionate towards one another. And then we try to find a way to build connection so that we can bring these two parties
as one.
So
just throw a bit more light on the roles. Let's get to really understand it, because we understand that there's traditional parenting and there's progressive parenting, which is also called the modern day parenting. So just throw a bit more light on the roles that the parent has to offer and where the teenager comes in as well.
Good. Being a parent, one of your roles is that it's not just enough for you to donate to contribute to the birth of the child. There's a lot more to parenting than that. So I tell parents that we are still in search of parents because we have parents who don't understand their roles. We have parents who have, they have relinquished their roles to so many other people. We need parents who are going to be there to teach the child, to guide the child, to mentor the child, to train, counsel, to be there for the child. We need parents who are fully involved in the life of their children. We don't need parents who are going to just contribute to the birth of these children and just leave them to either strangers or people who have little or no knowledge about parenting to parent their children. That is that for the parents. For the teenager, we need you to know that your roles, they are huge. It's not enough for you to have a parent who is there. Even when you have parents who are totally involved and available, you should understand that if they do all they can do for you as parents and you don't live up to your own roles, you will still fail.
What are these roles of the teenager?
Now, I will tell you that. A teenager's role begins with understanding that life is your responsibility. You are absolutely responsible for your life, for the outcome that you desire.
That seems heavy for them to understand.
Yes, I try to break it down for them. Your parents can do so much for you, but there are so many things they can't do for you. Your parents can't wake up for you. They can't poo for you. They can't bathe for you. A time will come when you have to take up that responsibility. So life is all about responsibility. And I want you to change the way you relate with life. Because if you don't understand that you are solely responsible for your life, one of the things that we see is that we see you beginning to act as a spectator in the affairs of your own life. You abdicate responsibility to your parents, to people. That is why you see us blame people. We blame everybody, including the devil, for our outcome. So one key role of every teenager is to understand that they are absolutely responsible for their life. The second role that they need to understand that they have to play is to understand that because you are very new in the school of life, you need knowledge. So you have to make every effort to seek knowledge. You seek knowledge by reading. You seek knowledge by being observant of your environment, what is happening. You cannot constantly be repeating the mistakes of others if you are really seeking knowledge. You seek knowledge, you seek wisdom. And wisdom simply tells you that if you can learn from the mistakes of others, you can do same.
Okay, ma, so we'll just come.
There's a whole lot about their roles.
I know.
I wanted to talk to you about one more.
We'll get to that after the short break. We'll be right back.
My country people, you wey don register for your PVC. Make sure say you go collect your PVC o. The matter you no stop there o. Make you join body with other Nigerians, vote Ajadi leaders wey go make the country better. No let world people buy you o. Remember, na our future be this. And this future, we must take am by force because your vote na be your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
Welcome back. So before we went on a short break, you were talking about the role of the teenager, and yes, so please continue.
Okay, so the next one is understanding the place of value. Building a solid value system for yourself, crafting it. Because your values is the compass of your life. It gives you direction. If you don't have a value, you are going nowhere. You are going to be beaten by the winds and the storms of life. So your values help you to know exactly your direction, gives you that sense of purpose and focus, and helps you to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. Because when you look at the life of the average teenager, one of the major problems that they face is that they don't know what to say yes to and what to say no to. But your values will be able to help you to know what are your negotiables, what are your non-negotiables, what are the things you can accept, and what are the things you cannot accept. So value formation is very important for the teenager. Then the next thing that is very important for them is to be able to craft a vision for their life. Many teenagers...
But in your teen years, do teenagers think about vision? Because I remember as a teenager, I'm not sure I was thinking about a vision for my life. I was just about, okay, I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be this global phenomenon.
That's a vision.
Oh, okay.
And here you are. Yes.
It was just a thing, you know, but... You know, because when you talk about vision now, I'm sure a teenager that might be watching this might be thinking, okay, she's all school. But do they have the honors to do that as early teenagers? Or you're thinking maybe at the age of 18, 19? Or
They have the role to do that. The truth is this. Even as a primary school child, and you ask the child, if depending on what you have been teaching the child all along, the child should know that as you are going to sleep now, your goal is to wake up by 7 a.m. It's a vision. As short term as it is a vision. So the child knows that I need to wake up by 8 o'clock tomorrow or 7 a.m. tomorrow. The child, you are beginning to, to prep that child for that understanding. It's not a highfalutin thing. When we talk about vision, it scares people. But vision is not something that should be scary. It's just a big picture of who you want to become and where you are going. It's that simple. You want to be a global phenomenon, yes, and that is what you are doing today. For some of them, it could just be okay. Just have a picture of who you want to be. Where do you see yourself? When you close your eyes, what do you think of yourself? Where do you see yourself? Who do you want to become? That is just the little thing that can help you craft that vision.
Okay, Ma, so you also talked about the role of parents. You talked about parents having to be involved. Now, even that being involved, especially African parents, sometimes we are over-involved in the lives of our children. So it's almost like the African parent works with the parenting style of top to bottom, where I tell you what to do, you do it. I tell you what you're going to study, you study. I tell you where to go, you go. There's almost like no room for the child or the teen to be creatively expressive in who they are. So from that time, they're being conditioned in a particular way. And then when they grow up to a certain age, we see that these people are lacking of certain creativity or even to think for themselves originally. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say about that is that when we say the parents should be involved, we are not saying the parents should control the child. The truth is...
Where do you draw the line between being involved and being controlling?
Being involved means you are participating in the life of that child. You know about your child. You know who your child is. Listen, the role that God gave to us as parents is that we are co-creators with God to raise our children. You are not raising your child for you. You are raising your child to fulfill the purpose for which they were created. That is the mistake that we make. You are not raising a child to fulfill your purpose. That is why you need to find out the purpose for this child. And you need to work with the Creator. That is why we are co-creators. We work with the Creator to help them actualize their purpose. So you are involving the child by knowing the child, getting to find out what is this child about. All of your children cannot be the same. So you exercise your parenting abilities by teaching and training them in the way they should go, not in the way you necessarily want them to go. There is a way they should go.
So that means that there is the aspect of parenting where you need to understand and study your children originally for who they are.
Exactly. That is where that knowledge I am talking about comes into play. You cannot parent from the place of control. You will lose the child.
I like that. I think that is absolutely something a lot of parents need to understand, especially traditional parents. Going into what you do, from your Facebook, I saw a post about, one of your mentees call you up. You wrote a story like that. She called you up and then she said, her boss was verbally abusive and all of that. And it seems like you give them this personal access to you where they can call you up at any point in time. So how are you able to manage this access so that, it's not abused in any way?
Okay.
Because a lot of time they can be quite needy.
They can be quite needy, demanding, and really, really choking. Yes. Yeah. Because sometimes they don't even know when to call you. They are not even concerned about what your own problems are, what you are going through. They just feel because you are an adult, you should be there for them at all times. But one of the things I do with them is that for some of them that have worked with me, because I've worked with quite a number of them over the years. For some of them, they know me that I'm firm. I love them a lot. I really, really do. There is nothing that they can come up to me and tell me they are going through that will make me throw them away. I won't. Name it. Is it teenage pregnancy? Is it LGBTQ? Is it masturbation or drug addiction? I feel this compassion for them because I relate with them from that place where I understand many times they have not even been able to think through the long-term effects of what they are doing. So I understand for them. Why I give them that access to me, I also try to draw a boundary and to help them to communicate that boundaries to them so that they can learn to know what my boundaries are, respect it, and then we'll be fine. The problem is if you don't communicate your boundaries to them, they can mess you up. Permit me to use that word. But if they are very aware of your boundaries, they will be able to respect it and you will be fine. So I think that's the way I've been able to work with them.
Okay, Ma. So still going down to, parenting. We know that, like we've established, there is modern day parenting and there's a traditional style of parenting where from top to bottom, and then the other one is trying to be more relational, empathetic with the child. The Western culture, they're mostly modern day progressive parenting, right? The African culture, we're still tilting between traditional and modern day, but with this new generation of parents, they're all about modern day parenting, which can create a room for overcompensating or overcompensation, yes, for what you did not have, the kind of relationship you did not have while growing up. So most of them tend up being overly friendly with their children and forget that, you know, you're still a parent figure. You need to put that authority right on stamp still. Well, the traditional parents, they're mostly about the authoritarian style and less of, I really don't want to know what you think or how you feel about what you feel, but this is what I'm saying. Where do you tilt more to? Should there be, which is more ideal, a more ideal parenting style to work with, or should there be a balance?
Well, I believe there should be a balance to everything. Because if we don't have that balance, the tendency for us to move to different extremes is there. Now, for the traditional parents, where we have the strict parents, the authoritative parents, the controlling, domineering parents, it's becoming to, we can see the fallout. The fallout is huge. And part of the fallout is that you don't have a relationship with your child. The parent is the high and the mighty. He sits on the throne, yes, thank you. He sits on the throne and gives instructions. And at the end of the day, what you end up achieving with such children is that you have children who conform to what you want them to do. But when they leave your space, they do exactly what they want to do. Do you understand? Yeah. So you are more controlling than influencing. The modern day parents seeks to come down to the level of the child, be a bit more authoritarian and democratic. You are firm, you are loving, you are flexible, you are not rigid. You are not trying to raise a child who will conform to you and to your dictates. You are rather trying to raise a responsible child who understands exactly what they are supposed to do, why they have to do it. So you explain to the children, you explain to your child the why behind every action, so that it gets to that point where the child can take responsibility for everything that they have to do because they understand the why. So you are raising a responsible child and a child who you have not, by controlling them, suspended their thinking. You are raising a responsible child and a child who can think independently, because when a child understands the why behind the what, they can think on their own. Okay.
Do you work with any NGOs to broaden your reach?
Not any for now.
Okay,
not any for now. Yes.
In the future, probably.
Probably yes. I only work with a rehab center in Port Harcourt, where I refer children that have addiction problems to. Okay. That's the only one I work with for now.
Okay. Thank you so much. So really, rounding up, there is one question that has been at the tip of my tongue, and I'm going to take it regardless of production. Okay. The culture of parents wanting the best for their children. I would also want the best for my child. So you see parents, especially in this day and time where Japa is the whole movement we're working with, especially because of the way the country is, Nigeria, so to speak. So you see a lot of parents sending their kids out there abroad to go school, even from teen years, for high school, boarding school. So they send their kids out there, their kids maybe live with relatives. The structure is that quarterly, the parents will travel from time to time to see their kids, and even while they're in Nigeria, just video call and all that, but you can really not be able to be hands-on, So what would you say about that new style of parenting?
Okay.
Parenting digitally, so to say.
It has is something we have found, and I really don't think it's going away anytime soon. Because like you said, every parent wants the best for the child. But the question also comes, what exactly is the definition of best? Is best always abroad? That is a question we need to answer. Because I know that the fact that we are having some turbulent time in our own climb doesn't mean that we can also not have that best here. But like I said, it depends on your definition of best. Now, if you want the best for the child, I would also suggest that you don't also focus on giving the child what you did not have over and above what the child actually needs. Which we do most of the time. So because you are sending your child outside of this country doesn't always mean they are going to have the best. That is the truth. The unfortunate thing is that we don't have people over there who are coming to share their experiences with us. I have a few persons over there, and they will tell you that some of these children are struggling. And their parents, even when they get to know, they cannot come out clearly and tell people, this is what I'm going through, because they are like, they don't want that kind of response. When you tell people that, oh, I send my child abroad, wanting the best for the child, but this is what I'm having, they are not ready to share that information with you. But I will say this, if you want to send your child abroad, all well and good, but understand that the best for your child is not always in what they will get abroad. We can also have something very good, and even that best that we are looking for abroad may be right here with us.
Thank you so much. I really could go on and on and on with this conversation, because I think a lot of us need to hear this. We need to understand it, but then it's about airtime as well. So, but how can your organization be reached, please?
Okay.
People who want to access you.
Okay, they can. My organization can be reached by either calling me on phone or following up on social media. Outstanding Teens Parents Community. That's on Facebook. And then on IG, Instagram, Mercy Ajadi.
Thank you so much, Ma, for your time. I totally enjoyed having this conversation, and I wish we could take it further, but then airtime it's going to happen to us, I guess. So at the end of the day, this is Thav TV. If you've loved what we've shared today, if you love the conversation, remember to follow us on all social media platforms to get access to more of our programs. This is Thav Exclusive. I remain Natasha. Bye for now. See you next time.